I stood in my bedroom, staring at the ashes in my trash can, remnants of 5 years of modeling work, professional photos, and contracts worth thousands. The acrid smell of burnt paper still hung in the air, mixing with the expensive perfume my twin sister Maya always wore. "It's for the best, Olivia," my father said, his hand resting on Maya's shoulder. "Your sister's therapy session yesterday, well, the doctor said your modeling career is triggering her depression." I looked at Maya, who couldn't meet my eyes. We were identical twins, but while I pursued modeling straight out of high school, she struggled with her self-image. Now, at 23, the gap between us had become an abyss. "You burned everything?" I asked, my voice surprisingly steady. "Even my backup drives?" "All of it," my mother chimed in from the doorway. "Maya needs a fresh start, and your success is complicated for her." Dr. Stevens suggested removing the trigger completely. I picked up a half-burned photo from the trash. Me on the cover of a local magazine. The edge curled into ash at my touch. 5 years of hard work, gone in one night while I slept. "Did you at least save my contract with a light agency?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "Canceled this morning," my father replied. "I called them as your manager. Said you're taking an indefinite break for family reasons." Of course he had. He'd been my manager since I started, controlling my finances, my contracts, everything. I was stupid to think that power would protect my career. Maya finally spoke, her voice small. "I'm sorry, Liv, but seeing you succeed where I failed, it's killing me. Mom and Dad are just trying to help." I looked at my twin, my mirror image in appearance only. Where I saw opportunity in our identical features, she saw competition. Where I built confidence, she harbored insecurity. "I understand," I said softly, pulling out my phone. My parents relaxed visibly at my calm acceptance. They expected tears, screaming, maybe even a physical fight. They didn't expect me to start typing. "What are you doing?" my mother asked, tension creeping back into her voice. "Texting my friend Emma. She's a lawyer." I kept typing, my fingers steady. "Did you know that destroying someone's professional contracts and property is actually a crime? Even if you're family?" The color drained from my father's face. "Now, Olivia, let's not be hasty. We're doing this for Maya." "No," I corrected him, still typing. "You're doing this to maintain control. Maya's mental health is just your excuse." Maya stepped forward, confusion crossing her face. "Liv, please, I need this." I finally looked up from my phone. "What you need is real therapy, not parents who burn my career to make you feel better." Did Dr. Stevens really suggest this, or is that another lie? The guilty shift in my mother's stance answered that question. "Thought so," I said, grabbing my car keys. "I'm leaving now. Don't try to stop me." "Where are you going?" my father demanded, moving to block the door. "To set things right," I replied, sliding past him. "And don't worry about my modeling career. You just gave me something much more valuable than those contracts." "What's that supposed to mean?" my mother called after me. I turned at the top of the stairs, taking in their worried faces. "You'll see. In exactly 6 weeks, everyone will see." What they didn't know was that I'd been preparing for something like this for months. Every time they managed my money, every time they used Maya's fragility to control my choices, I'd been gathering evidence. The burned contracts were just the final piece I needed. As I drove away, my phone buzzed with desperate messages. "Come home, we can talk about this. Think about your sister. Don't do anything foolish." They had no idea that their night of destruction had just handed me everything I needed. In their attempt to destroy my modeling career, they'd given me the perfect story for something much bigger. I pulled into Emma's driveway, already formulating my plan. My parents thought they were writing the end of my career, but they'd actually just written the beginning of their nightmare. In 6 weeks, when everything was in place, they'd understand exactly what they'd done. Maya sent one last text. "I never meant for them to go this far." I responded simply, "I know. That's why what happens next isn't your fault." Then I turned off my phone and walked into Emma's house, ready to start working on my revenge. They thought burning my portfolio would force me back into their control. Instead, they just lit the fuse on their own destruction. Let them think they'd won. In 6 weeks, they'd learn that some things can't be destroyed by fire, like the truth and a sister's determination to break free. Emma's jaw dropped as I laid out the evidence. Photos of the ashes, screenshots of threatening texts, recordings of my parents' management meetings where they discussed controlling my finances, and security camera footage I'd secretly installed showing them burning my portfolio. "This is seriously messed up, Liv," she said, organizing the documents. "But why wait 6 weeks? We could file charges now." I pulled out my laptop, showing her my real plan. "Because this is bigger than just me. I've been in contact with other models who've experienced family exploitation. We're going to tell all our stories at once." While my parents thought they were destroying my career, they didn't know I'd been building a network of support. Through private modeling forums, I connected with dozens of models who'd suffered similar family control. We'd been planning a collective expose. My parents had just given me the perfect lead story. 3 days later, I moved in with Emma and began executing my plan. My phone was flooded with messages from my parents. "Your sister hasn't eaten since you left. We did this to protect both of you. Your modeling was destroying this family." I forwarded every manipulative message to Emma for documentation. Meanwhile, Maya sent her own messages. "They're telling everyone you had a mental breakdown. Dad's calling all your industry contacts to blacklist you. Please tell me you have a plan." I did have a plan. While my parents were busy trying to destroy what remained of my modeling career, I was working with a team of investigators, documenting years of financial manipulation. Every contract they'd signed as my manager, every payment they'd redirected, every decision they'd made using Maya's mental health as leverage, it was all being compiled. 2 weeks in, I received an unexpected visit. Maya showed up at Emma's door, looking smaller than ever. "I went to Dr. Stevens," she said, stepping inside. Showed her what they did. She was horrified. She never suggested anything like this. I made us both tea, watching my twins' hands shake as she held the cup. "They've been using your struggles to control me for years," I said gently. "That's not love, Maya. It's abuse." "I know that now," she whispered. "Dr. Stevens helped me see how they've been manipulating both of us. She wants to testify if you need her to." That was the first crack in my parents' facade. They'd use Maya's therapy as justification for their actions, never expecting her therapist to stand against them. 4 weeks into my plan, the story started taking shape. A major online publication was interested in featuring our collective expose. 20 models, all sharing stories of family exploitation, with my burning portfolio as the leading narrative. My parents must have sensed something coming. Their messages changed from manipulation to desperation. "Whatever you're planning, please reconsider. We can replace your portfolio. Think about what this will do to our family name." Maya, growing stronger in her own therapy, sent me screenshots of their panic. They discovered I'd been documenting their financial dealings and were trying to cover their tracks. "Too late," Emma said, reviewing their scrambling attempts to hide evidence. "We already have everything." 5 weeks in, I received a cease and desist letter from a lawyer they'd hired. I forwarded it to Emma, who laughed. "They're threatening to sue you for defamation." With all this evidence, I sat in Emma's home office, reviewing the final draft of our story. The publication had verified every detail, interviewed other models and their families, and collected statements from mental health professionals about using therapy as a tool for manipulation. Maya called that evening. "They know something's coming. Dad's been making calls all day, trying to find out what you're planning. Are you ready?" I asked her. "Once this goes live, everything changes." "I'm ready," she said firmly. "Dr. Stevens says this is part of my healing too." Standing up to them, telling the truth. As week 6 began, I sent my parents one message. "You burned my portfolio to silence me. Instead, you gave me a better story to tell. Watch for it." Their response was immediate. "Don't do this to your sister." But Maya had already written her own piece for the article, describing how our parents had used her mental health as a weapon against both of us. Everything was in place. In 7 days, the story would break, and with it, their careful facade of protective parenting would burn just like my portfolio. They thought they were ending my modeling career. Instead, they were about to make me more visible than ever, just not in the way they'd feared. The story broke at exactly 9 a.m. on a Monday. Family control in the modeling industry. A collective expose went live across multiple platforms simultaneously. My face and Maya's led the article, our identical features telling 2 sides of the same story of manipulation and control. By 9:05, my parents' phones were ringing nonstop. By 9:15, Their social media accounts were flooded with comments. By 9:30, local news outlets were requesting interviews. I sat in Emma's office, watching the chaos unfold. The article had exceeded our expectations. Within hours, it had gone viral. 20 models sharing their stories of family exploitation, with our story as the catalyst. The burning of my portfolio, captured on my hidden security camera, became the symbol of family control in the industry. Your father's law firm just put him on administrative leave, Emma announced, reading her emails. Apparently, destroying legal contracts and manipulating financial documents doesn't look good for a senior partner. My phone lit up with a message from Maya. They're losing it. Mom's crying about her reputation at the country club, and Dad's threatening to sue everyone. But I'm okay. I'm with Dr. Stevens. The article hadn't just exposed our parents' actions, it had sparked a larger conversation about family exploitation in modeling. Industry professionals were coming forward, sharing similar stories. The agency my father had tried to cancel my contract with released a statement supporting me in implementing new policies about family management. At noon, my parents finally sent their first message since the story broke. You've destroyed this family. We hope you're satisfied with your revenge. I showed the message to Emma, who was preparing additional legal documentation. Still making it about them, she noted. Still no acknowledgement of what they did. Maya arrived at Emma's house that evening carrying a box. Found these in their home office, she said, pulling out folders of financial documents. They were trying to shred everything, but I got there first. The documents revealed even more than we'd known. Years of diverted payments, hidden accounts, contracts they declined on my behalf because they didn't want me getting too independent. There's more, Maya said, her voice stronger than I'd ever heard it. I'm pressing charges too. They've been using my therapy money to fund their lifestyle. Dr. Stevens helped me trace it. By the end of the week, our story had sparked investigations into family management practices across the industry. Other models were coming forward, seeking legal help to audit their family-managed careers. The burning of my portfolio had become a rallying cry for change. My parents made one last attempt at damage control. They called a family meeting through their lawyer, promising to make things right if we retracted our statements. Maya and I attended together, sitting across from them in their lawyer's office. They looked smaller somehow, their authority diminished by exposure. We can fix this, our father said, pushing a document across the table. We'll replace your portfolio, set up new contracts. We'll even step down as managers. This isn't about the portfolio anymore, I replied, standing up. This is about every decision you made to control us, every time you used Maya's health as a weapon, every dollar you stole. Maya stood beside me, and every time you made us think we were competing when you were really just playing us against each other. We left them there, with their useless offers and their broken control. Outside, photographers were waiting, not for scandal, but to document our story of breaking free. 1 month after the article, I was back in front of cameras, but not as a model. I was speaking at industry events about family exploitation. Maya was beside me, sharing her perspective on how families weaponize mental health to maintain control. Our parents faced multiple investigations, financial, legal, and professional. Their carefully constructed image had burned as completely as my portfolio. They thought burning your photos would make you invisible, Emma said, watching us prepare for another speaking engagement. Instead, they made you unforgettable. Maya squeezed my hand as we walked onto another stage. They wanted to break us apart, she said, but they actually helped us find our real strength. The last message I ever received from our parents read, "We only wanted what was best for the family." I didn't respond. They still didn't understand that their definition of family had been the problem all along. They had tried to burn my future to control it. Instead, they had lit a flame that would change the industry forever. Maya and I stood together, ready to tell our story again. We were no longer the controlled twins, playing our assigned roles. We were survivors, advocates, sisters who had found power in the truth. They had tried to write our ending. Instead, they had given us a new beginning.